Right guys, hope you all had a great weekend, hope you all kept safe. Before we jump into the meat of this video, quick apology from me. In my last video, I had some responses that suggested the title was maybe a little bit misleading because it sounded like I knew what title update 11 changes were coming, when in fact it was more of like a wish list. So I do apologize. I have changed the title to better reflect the content of the video. When I do make my titles, you know, to me it sounded fine, but then on reflection, I can see why people might have got the wrong end of the stick. So thanks to everyone, including those on Twitter, for reaching out and saying something about it. It helps me understand my mistakes. Enough of that though. The title of this video is not in any way clickbait or anything like that. I want to jump into this one as soon as possible, so drop a like, comment, all of that good stuff down below if you enjoy this one, and let's begin. Due to the world issues, Ubisoft will be hosting its first digital conference. It'll be like an E3 style showcase. It's called Ubisoft Forward on July 12th, which will have plenty of exclusive game news, reveals, trailers, and a lot more. It's what you expect from like an E3 style reveal. Ubisoft has not provided any official details on what we can expect for this event, but it's fair to say news on games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Watch Dogs Legions, God and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and others are going to be present there. So what about the Division 2? Well, I think it's fair to say that I wasn't personally expecting any news on upcoming Division 2 content from this particular event, especially with the Season 2 just starting or just begun. But it has come to my attention that might not be the case, and there could well be a reveal of something upcoming in the Division 2, some sort of DLC. Now, I was first made aware of this on Twitter when Dave Aguilar, I've said that so bad, copied me into this tweet. This is a snapshot from an article on the psu.com website. Now, if you go to the article, it's dated 26th of June, so 3 days ago, only a couple of days ago, and it talks about the Ubisoft Forward event. The section of interest is subheaded Ubisoft Forward event, an unprecedented lineup. And this particular section reads, it's fair to say the Ubisoft lineup for the Ubisoft Forward event is unprecedented in the company's history. 5 big AAA games with a heap of smaller titles and updates, just like new For Honor mode, a Rainbow Six Siege expansion, new DLC for the Division 2, Just Dance 2021 to lighten the mood, and a mobile title here and there. The lineup is one that any publisher would die for, and it could be the key to an absolutely incredible showcase filled with gameplay, exclusive, exciting reveals, release dates, and more. We're still a few weeks away, but the Ubisoft Forward event is easily the most excited I've been for one of these summer showcases, excluding the PS5 reveal. There is a lot of potential and a lot of excitement for what they could show. All Ubisoft have to do is use the tools it has in its tool shed. So of course, the big thing here is DLC for the Division 2. Now, I don't know if this is true. Ubisoft have not officially confirmed that the Division 2 DLC will be presented with the Ubisoft Forward. But PSU, they have a bit of a history of revealing details of upcoming content or features, certainly for the Division 2, before its time. And that could be the case here, again, because I've checked the mainstream media who have wrote articles about what we might expect with the event, and none of them have mentioned the Division 2. In fact, very few of them have mentioned any of the other details in this particular kind of paragraph. You know, for example, the Rainbow Six Siege expansion or the new For Honor mode. None of that stuff's been mentioned anywhere else. So I'm just wondering if this is something that they have knowledge of and have revealed it probably before its time. With that said, we know the devs are working on a Skyscraper PvE mode. In fact, Yannick said they are working on modes, so plural, suggesting this isn't the only mode they are working on. It's quite possible I'm clutching at straws with that optimism, but when the Skyscraper PvE mode does become available, it would make sense this would come with the introduction of either an update or, as stated in the article, maybe some new DLC. Now, I have scoured the Ubisoft and Massive Job Board just to see if there's anything that's come up recently that might give us clues to whether something is being worked on in the Division 2, maybe some roles that would suggest some new content, that sort of thing, or possible positions on maybe a Division 3. And there are some job roles for an unannounced project that are on there, pretty important job roles that would suggest maybe some new kind of narrative or maybe a new game in general. Now, I thought at first this just might be, the Avatar game, because we know that Massive started working on that in 2017, but there are jobs listed there for the Avatar project. So it doesn't make sense to have something that says unannounced and then have something that says Avatar and they both be the same. Not sure what to make of this, but I'll leave that just here for you guys to speculate on. It's no secret that we all want replayable PvE game modes, and more than one if possible. It was hinted some time ago by an employee at Redstorm. I think they were an employee at Redstorm. They were certainly part of Redstorm. I believe they did some concept art. That a new DZ was coming within New York. And I did actually report on this a while back. There is evidence of this possibility in-game, with one user providing an image of a possible Dark Zone entrance in New York. So it is possible a new DLC will contain Skyscraper PvE mode and a new Dark Zone. That's a possibility, I guess. There is a possibility, of course, but I suspect if both of these are in the works, they might come at different times, and it's very likely that any sort of new DLC won't be available until March next year. I do hope I'm wrong, I really do, because I think we need replayable game modes now, not kind of in 9 months' time. But we know that the audio logs found on the PTS, which first leaked the Skyscraper mode, went up to and included Season 4. So it's safe to assume it's going to come either during Season 4, or it's probably going to come after Season 4. So that's definitely not going to be until March or April of next year. A little bit disappointed by that. I would hope that would come much sooner, but that is looking like the timeline at the moment. What we do know is if this is not leaked, or if anything's not leaked, Massive and Ubisoft like to keep content drops pretty close to their chest until a couple of weeks before the content is actually due to launch. I think with Warlords of New York, we learned about its inception about 3 weeks before it went live, and I expect a similar trend to follow here for the Year 3 DLC or any other content that's not the Skyscraper mode. The reason they came out and talked about the Skyscraper mode was because of obviously the audio logs found on the PTS. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have any idea about it. And I think the unfortunate thing is they had to talk about it, but actually it's a long way off. On another note, for anyone hoping the Division 2 is being worked on or for the PS5 or is being ported to the PS5 or Xbox Series X, unfortunately that's not happening. Technically the Division 2 can still appear on the PS5 or Xbox thanks to the fact that both the systems are backwards compatible, but a dedicated port won't be happening. Yannick actually said, we're not looking at porting it to new platforms. What I can tell you is that we're not making a specific version for those consoles. We're very much focused on just working on what we have now and making that as good as possible. Many of you might have already been aware of this, but I've seen quite a few people recently asking about a possible port to next gen on Twitter. So I just wanted to address that in this video. I believe this news goes back to February and I didn't report on it at that time, so a little bit late, but now you have that information. It's a bit of a shame, of course, but if it means Massive can just focus on making the game as good as possible, which is what Yannick states, rather than spend time with potentially trying to get the game ported over to those next gen consoles, then I'm good with that. That's good news to hear, in my opinion. Just a heads up, guys, I will be live streaming the Iron Horse World First raid attempt tomorrow. Ubisoft Massive are running a live stream from 5 PM CEST or 4 PM UK time, where they'll be discussing the raid with Ubisoft Annecy. And then we've got the raid doors opening at 5 PM UK time, so about 1 hour later. I will be streaming from about 4 to 4:30 PM tomorrow here on YouTube, so I look forward to seeing you all there, and I suspect it's going to be a very long one, guys. If it's anything like Dark Hours, as you know, then I think the first team that did it on console at least was in 30 plus hours. So it's probably going to be a long one. So yeah, definitely check that out. If you wanted to secure the Twitch drops, the mask and the backpack trophy, please remember to link your Ubisoft account and Twitch account. That's important. If you don't do that, it won't happen. What I'd recommend when watching me is to have your phone open to someone else on Twitch. That way you won't miss out on the rewards. Who you decide to watch on Twitch is entirely up to you. This is actually what I'm going to be doing. We'll be running with the TSW clan, and they're just an amazing group of people who are not only the most welcoming clan or bunch of people that I've ever played with. They actually got me through the Dark Hours raid, but they're very competitive. So I am expecting us to be in with a good shout on the world's first for console, at least. And unless you believe POG, I've already done it, which I don't, of course, because I just think that's ridiculous. But that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this one. I'm very much looking forward to the raid tomorrow. I'm looking forward to actually getting on a live stream and spending that with you guys, because it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be a long one. But with that said, thanks very much for all of your support. If you do have any speculation on what we're going to get from a DLC for next year, please let me know, because, you know, Season 4, Fei Lao, spoilers, you know, it's probably going to end with us defeating Fei Lao. Either she runs away or we kill her. I don't quite know. But anyway, until tomorrow's video, peace.